And so when I was 20, I had my first breast biopsy done, and when I was 21, I had the second one done. It was 2012. I had my abdomen tumor removed.
Sarah's story would actually begin 88 years before she was born. William Love, in 1890, envisioned a canal that would connect the Niagara River to Lake Ontario. He would start construction, but the panic of 1893 would leave investors to drop out and the canal to sit empty. In 1947, Hooker Chemical bought the area, now called Love Canal, and began burying toxic waste. It would be covered with a clay top and topsoil. In 1953, the Niagara Falls School Board bought the area for $1 and built a school. The remaining land was sold and houses were built. At some point in time, the chemicals would leak. In January 1977, a blizzard would hit the western New York area and blanket everything in snow. In the spring, the melting snow would cause the canals to flood, and the chemicals long ago buried to rise. Sarah's family would move to North Tonawanda on Forbes Street, and it seemed that their Love Canal story would be over, until this news broke.
Toxic issue is rearing its ugly head in Wheatfield once again. The State Department of Environmental Conservation has reclassified the site of an old landfill as a significant threat to public health. That site containing toxic chemicals from Love Canal.
But how was this story brought to light?
And I was talking to a friend of mine, I live in Germany, and I said to her, you know, my nephew had got this 1 in 100,000 chance disease, cancer, whatnot. And then my best friend who grew up across the street has a son at 2 that has the same exact thing. I mean, I knew what it was. And I didn't know what it was before that, but then I truly knew what it was. I mean, I came back for a benefit. I did all kinds of stuff about it, so I was very informed. And so I knew. And then, so I said, what's the odds of 2 parents growing up across the street from each other? And she said to me, would you grow up next to a chemical dump? And I thought about it. In Germany, in Kitzingen, Germany, I thought about Forbes Street. I thought about where I grew up at 1299 Forbes Street. I thought about driving my dirt bike, mini bikes, with Mark Rosebrock for that matter, in the dumps in the back.
That's what we call
pulling over to let these trucks go past that would just pour the chemicals right out of the barrels, right off the back of the truck. It all kind of came back. I mean, that was just a memory I hadn't thought about because I didn't need to, but in thinking about it. So then I thought about the orange ponds that never froze, littered with broken battery parts in the bottom. I thought about all the chemical barrels that we would use build fires with, and they were just rusted out, or shoot with BB guns or whatnot. And then that kind of got me going, oh man, So then I asked my mom, who lived a long time on the street, who had cancer? Like, was there any other kind of... And well, my father had stomach cancer, and she explained that our next door neighbor had breast cancer, and the neighbor past them, also Krolzaks, like me, they both died of cancer. And I thought, okay, so us, that's 3 houses in a row. First 3 houses I checked, cancer. So then I asked Alexis Dietrich, who grew up across the street from me, who she knew that had cancer. Well, she had cancer. Her father, I believe, had leukemia and some other weird cancer. She had 3 generations of dogs with cancer. And her mother had something bizarre, weird thing. She also said her neighbor, directly next door, Elaine McCall, she had 3 different types of cancer and died from brain cancer.
Through an email, Carl would tell me about 2 other houses across the street that had cancer. In a letter from Mary DePota, she gives details on 13 more houses on Forbes Street that have cancer. Out of the 136 houses on Forbes Street, I know of 21 of them that have cancer. That is roughly 28% of the houses.
So then I started doing research. I found a way to go online to look up old newspapers, basically Tonawanda News, going back. And I spent a long time just putting in keywords, seeing what popped up, reading the whole page, which was good that I did, because sometimes you'd find one thing and there'd be something else. And I saved all these articles and I just kept looking. I looked at articles around here, not just this, but also information about Love Canal, information about the other dump sites around here. If they dumped there, I'm thinking maybe they dumped there. I mean, I didn't know. And then I found out that the Department of Transportation paid the town of Wheatfield $1,000 to put, I think it's 16,000 cubic yards of contaminated waste from Love Canal, the southern tip of Love Canal, in the dumps, Nash Road dump site.
Carl would email me a mountain of documents, and in some form they all contained 4 phrases: Love Canal, chemicals, dumped, Forbes Street. Some of those documents date back to the late 70s. That's almost 40 years. Why was this news such a shock?
And my mom tells me that they knew about this wetland area, and Dad specifically asked when we moved. We were given that map, and to move their family safely, we were given a map of all the dump sites in western New York, and this was not one of them. And my father asked, what is this land used for? And they said, it's nothing but wetlands. It's never been used for anything. Don't worry about it. And so when we found this out, my mom tells me this story, because we never talked about Love Canal. We never talked about the litigation or what it was like to move, or we all knew we were Love Canal kids, and that was that. Talking about it just makes it more sad. You know, everybody's sick and you lose your house, and so you just didn't really bring it up very much. And
Hi there. Oh no, I'm actually filming a documentary about the dumps. About No, thank you. No, I'm positive. I mean that's tempting, but no, thanks. I actually got a warning from my friend not to go back there. That's right. I mean, I was gonna show like just that little rope bridge thing there. Oh really? Huh. Yeah, that's what I've heard. Yep. That's crazy. Unbelievable. It's crazy they wouldn't lock it up or anything. Then people.
They're lucky somebody didn't die.
Yeah, they're definitely.
Close enough to the hole, but it was a huge hole in the ground. And they didn't dare get close enough to the edge to look in. I wouldn't either.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. Yeah, that's crazy. Do you know if there's anything like still around there, like barrels or anything up there? Or?
No, they took it all out. They made this road. They put this road in so they could take the chemicals out. They took them out all that summer.
Oh, really?
And now there's a bunch more wells that they can test.
Oh, alright, so they're doing like regular testing and all that.
Yeah, now. Until it comes out. Now it's been abated. You know?
Well, I heard that the DEC classifies that like a class 2 or something like that, where it still is like a potential or something for hazard.
Oh yeah. I mean, when you're sucking it out of the earth, how do you know you got it all?
Yeah, that's true.
That's all it is. I mean, you can't say you got it all. Even if you think you did, and even if you keep testing, you still really don't know.
Yeah, it might be a little pocket over there.
Or something over there. Hard to say.
That's true.
So we've been riding through here for 10 years, and I don't have an estimate or
Alright.
We've aged here, so we're not dead. I don't have any cancer yet or anything. So you gotta die of something.
That's true. That's definitely true.
I got migraines since I was 2 years old, and that, was when I lived in Love Canal, and I still to this day have these like headaches. They're very, very specific. They're in a very specific location. 2nd grade, about 8 years old, is when the vomiting started. I throw up every day. I've had a large lump removed from each breast, tested. I have lumps all throughout my body, and I don't have them removed anymore because They're scary. I don't like looking at them. I don't like touching them. I don't like finding them. Okay? Fibroid on my uterus. And it grew to be a 1-pound tumor that entangled everything but one ovary. All my reproductive organs except for one ovary. Which they were not anticipating when they went in to remove this tumor. And I woke up to find out that, you know, I don't have any possibility of ever being able to reproduce myself. We are worse than we were when we lived in Love Canal. This area is worse.
Senator Ort's here for an important announcement. So, I didn't want to jump anybody who's actually a resident of the town of Wheatfield. So, but it's certainly my pleasure to be here. Mr. Councilman, Town Board, I want to thank you for having me. As some of the folks who are here, and as many of you know, as was announced today on the news, I have been able to secure $75,000 in state capital funds to help construct a fence around the Niagara landfill, Niagara Sanitation Landfill, which is, of course, the site right on the border of Wheatfield and North Tonawanda behind Forbes Street. And, you know, for many, many years, the words Love Canal, as we all in this room know, bring with it a lot of emotion, a lot of bad memories.